sometimes you can copyright your products. But in addition to just your business name, you may have logos or slogans, or if you're Taylor Swift, you may even start to trademark some of your song lyrics. So I could talk a little bit about Taylor Swift, that may help, or you may start crying. Okay, I can honestly say I don't know any of her songs, but I love her because this trademark stuff she's doing is so much fun for me. I need to get a life. She's got, I think, over 100 trademark applications. So this can give a really good example of what she's done and the trademark component, but then also we can talk about the copyright component. So she's trademarked her name, a little squiggly of her name, her initials, TS. I'm starting to use Swift as like a verb.
How can you trademark your initials at all? Like?
Because, I'll tell you why. She is using them in connection with certain goods and services. So she puts her initials, TS, see the T with the little squiggly S? She's putting this on stationery and notebooks. Right, so you go through the store, you see this stationery, and it's got the little TS, and you know it's Taylor Swift. I love her, her music's so great, and I'm going to buy this. So nobody else can come along and use that same little insignia on stationery and notebooks. She's also got it for clothing and t-shirts, so she's on tour, she probably puts those on t-shirts.
So she just trademarked her handwriting of initials, not necessarily her initials.
No, she's done both.
Well, yeah, well, what if my initials are TS and I want to put my initials on something?
Well, you have to make sure that you're not using it on similar goods and services to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
What if you're like a poet and you want to put your poem on something with your initials at the end of it?
But
you know?
Your initials in that case are not serving as a trademark. Right? So for example, Taylor Swift owns the trademark to her name. So does that mean we all have to walk around and say, hey, what are you listening to on the radio? Oh, you know the song by that lady, because I can't say her name. No, the trademark doesn't go that far. The trademark is only acting as a trademark when it's identifying the source of goods and services. So you can say, oh, I'm listening to Taylor Swift's music right now. I'm not trying to sell anything, so by using it that way, it's not acting as a trademark. On the other hand, if I were to start selling t-shirts with the phrase Taylor Swift on it, then it's starting to act as a trademark. I'm giving the impression that it's actually from Taylor Swift and her empire. And then, then that's trademark infringement. So what happened last week was, and these are the types of things that put me in a really good mood. Her attorneys had sent a cease and desist letter to Etsy. And I was all over it. I was just basically doing backflips. But,
why were you excited?
Because I love trademark law. I just find it fascinating, just how powerful it is. So some of the crafters on Etsy were making Taylor Swift coffee mugs and selling them. So they shouldn't be doing that because she's got the right to make money off of her name and make money off of her own publicity. And she's got the trademark in her name, so you can't do that. So just like, we can't go out and start making, oh, I really like Ford, I'm going to start making Ford coffee mugs. Or I really like,
But I bet,
well, you could
I mean, this isn't a class of intellectual property, but that means certain people can only own things. And so, like, the whole world is owned by, so there's nothing left to, like, do in the world if everything's owned by other people.
well, but that's sort of the point I'm trying to make is that that's not actually true. So she doesn't own her name and nobody else can use it. Nobody can sell Taylor Swift t-shirts. Nobody can sell Taylor Swift coffee mugs.
What if there's somebody else named Taylor Swift?
They lost the race to the trademark office?
That's well, like, what if my initials were TS and I was making some sort of different art and then I was putting my art on a t-shirt and I wanted to use my initials, which are just random letters of the alphabet.
Okay, I have some.
Well, it has to be stylized.
I have some information to add to this question, just by way because of my own personal life experience. I ran across this. Here in America, we have a band called the Spinners, and most people here are very young. Do you know of the Spinners, the Detroit Spinners?
That's familiar.
from the sixties, right, or seventies? Okay, well, I had an experience where I went to Liverpool, England, and I lived there for a while. And over there, there's a folk music band from the fifties and sixties and seventies, and they're the Spinners. So, over here we have the Spinners music band, over in England, the Spinners music band. So, the Spinners in Liverpool, England had the name The Spinners since 1958. So they pulled a lawsuit on the Detroit Spinners. And the end result of that lawsuit was, the reason the Detroit Spinners are called the Detroit Spinners is because they cannot use, they have to identify themselves from where they originated from. Right, and the same thing with the Liverpool Spinners. So in England, the Spinners are the Spinners. In America, the Spinners are the Spinners. But if they travel around the world, then they have to identify where they came from. So that might help.
Yeah,